Hi guys, welcome back. All right, this is going to be a today's topic video. It is going to be for the 13th. And so let's go ahead and see where this storyline takes us. We have got the hermit. So the message on the 13th is to kind of either it's a message specifically for a Virgo to think deeply about something, or it's a good time to pull back, or a character might want to um, even withdraw. Somebody might want to, you know, I know this looks like somebody laying in their bed, reading something on their cell phone, but it's like they're looking something up. This is something important to them, or this is even a character who might be saying, you know what, I just want to go into like a dark room, have that 5 minute meditation space. I just need a break from all the noise. I need to withdraw. I need to put a chair in the closet and close the door for just a minute and just be like, oh, okay, let the peace surround me. But it's because the character is trying to figure something out. We go into the hermit mode when we are seeking guidance, usually seeking an answer to something. We've got the Six of Wands. Wow, it is somebody who has, like, this is almost a person who is an introvert extrovert. So their natural state, or the way they repower their batteries, is to go into introvert mode, and then they got to go out and be an extrovert. I mean, obviously, this is somebody who's like on a stage being seen by a bunch of people. This could also represent a character who needs to like envision being successful like this, and maybe wrap their head around that, and maybe consider, okay, am I ready for this? This is what I need to have happen. I know I've got to prepare myself for this. Let me manifest it. Let me envision it. Let me see though. Tell me about the hermit. Give me another one on that. We got the World card. We got the Five of Wands. It's time. It is time for some kind of a change. This might be somebody who's ready to step back into the dating world. They know that it's time to do it with the World card. And I say that because she's in this wedding dress and she's holding the scythe and she's got the timer here. And then we see that Two of Wands. It's like, okay, I've been at this crossroads, or excuse me, Five of Wands. Not at a crossroads. The Five of Wands is analyzing, analyzing, analyzing. This might be that on the 13th, a character, possibly a Capricorn or a Virgo specifically, is really contemplating, I've held myself back from really being seen for a while. What were they waiting for? If they were holding themselves back and analyzing, 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 and this is like their last, I'm going to do this just one more time, and then I'm going to use that scythe to cut that out. They were asking themselves, do I really think that somebody is ever coming my way? Do I really think that this King of Pentacles is going to show up with their suitcase at my house? Do I really think that they're doing this? Do I really imagine that this person is coming to marry me? If they haven't come by now, do I think that they're going to do that? I'm sorry, I know this sounds kind of like a harsh message, but our character is in hermit mode, thought process mode. They've been analyzing this and they've been trying to answer the question, how long do I wait for something? And maybe they didn't intend to be waiting, but some piece of their heart, it's hard to control your heart, right? And I'm wondering if this character realizes that they have, in waiting for somebody else, like their gown looks a little tattered, and they're saying, what am I doing? I'm all these beautiful years I could be spending with someone and marrying somebody that's a wonderful match for me. But if I keep myself in hermit mode and I keep analyzing again and again, but I was waiting for him or her, the King of Pentacles, to show up. I keep feeling, just because he carries his trunk of like everything he owns is in that trunk, and he's showing up. And it's been a long time, because we see all these berry bushes are grown around him. So it's been a long time. But I think our character is saying, do I really think that partner, that ex, do I really think, even if I believed I was supposed to be married to them, isn't it time I just stop keeping myself on a shelf for them? Isn't it time I use that scythe to cut myself free, so that I finally start a new cycle and I get out there and I meet one of these other wonderful human beings on this planet? This is like a representation of the 8 billion of us that are here. Why would I think that there's only one person that maybe fits the bill? Maybe somebody's name is Bill. But why would I believe that? And I think that they're really sitting down and they're giving themselves this moment to contemplate it like that. Maybe all this time they've contemplated, other aspects of waiting, or that person, or that idea of like, but I want to marry them and I feel connected to them. And now they're contemplating differently on the 13th. Now they're asking themselves that question of, isn't it time that I cut myself free of this? Even though this King of Pentacles is upright, it keeps feeling like, but if they didn't come toward me, hell, maybe they went towards somebody else. Maybe they did move forward. It just wasn't with me. I mean, I know that sounds like a brutal thing for this character to be considering, but a hermit looks for inner answers with only the information that they've got. All they can say is, I've got to stop waiting. That's so we're kind of like in their head talking, or hearing them talk themselves through this, right? The Death card, the Five of Cups. They have thought themselves silly over this. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to this character, right? This character is, first off, I think their heart is probably really true and they love really deeply. And they don't just give up. This is the ride or die kind of person. They would wait, 1,000 years if they believed or felt like they could really believe that somebody was coming their way. But what they've begun to question is, but is this person ever coming my way, or is it time to let this go and give birth to a new dream? This is the death and rebirth cycle. It makes me very, very sad to have to do this, but how many more times can I let my brain go through this maze of thought processes? I really feel like this is a character who's been saying and saying and saying in their own mind, I've put myself in a rat maze of thoughts, and I think I've got to stop, and I think I've got to let this go. Maybe I need to envision meeting somebody else. Maybe I need to envision them moving forward, but acknowledge maybe it isn't to come toward me. Let's take a look and just I feel like we should just kind of stay on their story for this, because it has been all about them trying to do what's right for them, for that hermit. Universe, what's the message for the hermit? The Two of Swords. Well, hermit, there's a lot that you don't know. There's a lot of blockages. I don't know if somebody got in trouble with the police, but we got the police here. We've got the head and the heart, and we see them blocked, but we also see them blindfolded. And the universe says, you don't know everything that goes on. You don't have all the pieces of information. The Magician upright and the Queen of Cups in the reverse. You know what? I really like this gentle message, because the universe says, sweetheart, don't talk yourself out of loving somebody because you have to talk yourself into the idea that maybe they've moved on and they're so happy with somebody other than me. They took their box of stuff and they moved forward. It just wasn't with me. Instead of trying to find a painful thing to say, well, that would give me closure if I thought about it like that, the universe says, sweetheart, there's a bunch of information you don't have. There's a lot of other things that stop somebody from doing the things that they wish that they could do. So operate under the assumption of I can only deal with what I do know, and everything else is assumption. And there's a lot of gaps in my knowledge on this. And better, instead of trying to say, I need to stop thinking about them, give up on this, and imagine that they went onward and they were happy with someone other than me. Instead of that, why don't we just think about you, hermit? How about if you just start thinking in a really peaceful way, what beautiful life you would like to have? What beautiful experiences would you like to have? What pieces of you might need some gentle healing? Because instead of saying, I have to let go of this and it's really hard, it's like, well, don't think about letting go, because then you're going to grab on tighter. Instead, think about manifesting like more into one's life. Don't think of it from the negative position. Think of, what beautiful things would I like to experience in my life? What beautiful energies would I like to welcome toward me? Instead of focusing on, but I have to let this go. And oh my God, it's so painful and it's so hard. And I desperately want to hold on to it, but I can't. The universe is like, there's a bunch of information you don't have. So don't look for a painful way to end this or a painful explanation, because in fact, you don't know what happened. And it just means you don't insult your own self or try to find something that would hurt you and say, see, I got to stop caring about them. Because again, the universe is like, always look to move toward a positive and acknowledge there's a bunch that I don't know. I only know what I'm dealing with. And I only know that I want peace and I want something beautiful. And let me put my mind in a really good space in order to move on from this. And that will possibly help me not hold on so tightly if I fill my life with all kinds of joyful things. Maybe they won't have to be an official, like, today is the day that I must do a release ritual. I must cut the cord. I must no longer care about them. I must picture them being happy with someone else and that they didn't want me. I must. The universe says, how about less of must and more of, you know what I'd really love? I'd love to, think about the next 10 years of my life and all the wonderful experiences I'm going to have. I'd love to think about the hobbies I'd like to excel at. I'd love to put a list together of all the things that I want to do and experience and places I want to go and foods I want to taste. And let me start moving toward those things. Let that be what I manifest for myself, instead of I have to focus on letting go of something that I'm really struggling to let go of. It's just it's it's the replacement of something with better energy, instead of focusing on the thing that's already upsetting and trying to force oneself to work through that. Okay, so if our character were to do that, universe, what might be the outcome for them? King of Swords, but also the Devil. Tell me about the Devil here, because if they move forward, they just might end up, we have the Moon and the Fool. I don't want to say that person magically comes back, but now they're a King of Swords, although it could be. And they may have a lot of explanation to do. You notice their heart is on the tip of the sword. The explanation comes from the heart, and it might be the full explanation of what our character never knew. It is very possible that this is them saying, I got waylaid. I got really tangled up. There's a lot of stuff that you didn't know. I'm only just now ready to take this leap of faith because I was stuck in a really, really toxic, really difficult, really painful space for a while. This is not, oh, I was in some happy relationship elsewhere and just didn't know if I wanted you. This is a big, mess. Now, the alternate way that I could read this is that if our character can just start focusing on, I'm just going to manifest great things into my life. I'm not even going to focus on having to let go of them. What could happen is that they meet somebody really, really wonderful. They meet somebody entirely different. And over time, they start to compare and contrast a little bit and be like, hey, that person that I was really waiting for previous, that King of Pentacles, who I wanted for so long, tried to talk myself out of wanting, finally just started to manifest happiness into my life. And I've met this amazing, straightforward King of Swords. Now, when I think back to the past, I go, wow, I was actually stuck in a karmic cycle. I was trapped thinking and thinking and thinking about someone, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that what I needed to do was take a leap of faith toward rainbows and sunshine. I needed to focus on bringing better things into my life and not focus on how much I needed to let go of that person. Because honestly, it's really hard to know when we're in a toxic cycle sometimes, a karmic thought pattern or something, round and round and round. Instead, giving ourselves something else to think about and something else to go do, it kind of hints at that is the stronger, I think that's the stronger message here. rather than saying, oh, this person's coming back. I think it's just that our character would discover that there's somebody else out there for them that is amazing, and this is all possible because they hadn't realized that it was them in a bit of a cycle for a while, trying to figure out what happened, trying to talk themselves out of wanting someone that they wanted, instead of just leaning into the rainbow and choosing happier things for themselves, and not, I mean, that's easier said than done, right? Not worrying about where somebody is or if they're coming back, but rather to just be busy living one's best life. I do think it's intended, this feels still like a gentle message, even if I didn't deliver it very well, that says, character, you don't need to shame yourself. You don't need to think so hard. You don't need to say, oh, I've got to stop feeling this way. Oh my God, but it's devastating to have to give up on this. All they can feel however they feel, but the universe is just gently saying, but start thinking about beautiful things that you want, and think more about the beautiful things that you're, creating in your life and welcoming into your life. And naturally, it might start to replace those repetitious thoughts of, I must forget this person, I must let go of them. Because I do think this is a story of a character who's on, rinse, wash, repeat cycle again and again and again. It's like, hey, the clothes are already clean. We just got to stop pushing them through the washer again and again. We just got to move on to the next thing, and then just, allow life to happen. And again, we kind of end with a little bit of, I don't know how to interpret this. This could be them coming back in, but it just says no matter what, it would be in our character's best interest to move on to the next activity. Like I say, if we're doing laundry, we don't just keep washing the clothes again and again and again. We know we take them out and then we put them into the dryer. But our character needs to just move to the next thought process in their mind, and maybe not worry about, but do I have to stop thinking about that person from my past? No, but they naturally will probably think less about that person from the past when they're busy manifesting all these other things. Just like our clothes are wet, but we put them in the dryer and they're still damp for a while, but they're going through a drying process and they get drier and drier until finally we have fluffy, nice, fresh clothes and we can hang them back up. It kind of feels like that's a better process for our character. At least that's a message for the 13th. Final message, anything here? Actually, I really like that one. Empress and Strength card. So much encouragement for this character, whether they're masculine or feminine is irrelevant, but just this reassurance that better, brighter days are ahead. Our character is really strong, and our character is very capable of moving forward, and they will do that, and their life will turn out really, really beautiful, and they don't need to sit and shame themselves. Also, this character is getting married to, I don't know, possibly a Leo in that storyline, or a Gemini or a Taurus. But thank you guys for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.